Hey, everybody. Happy Friday the 13th.
Happy Friday.
Are you spooked because it's Friday the 13th?
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't be either. If I was you, I did look up, though, today the history of Friday the 13th. So I'll share that with you guys when we get rolling
I can't wait to
into the slides. Well, I just
learn
found
about it.
I was looked down and it said Friday the 13th, and I wonder where that comes from. So I did my normal nerdy self and figured out where it came from.
You do that.
I do that a lot.
You do that with
Everything.
a lot of different
Mhm.
holidays that
Well, just anything. I mean, I just
pagan holidays.
I just like to know that kind. You do you not like to know that kind of stuff?
No, I agree.
You know, to have a mind
Why do we
full
do
of
why do we do it?
20 million useful facts or useless facts.
Well, maybe we shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, I don't know. I find it interesting, but anyway, let's get some hellos in the door. First and foremost, Squatchy's in the house, and I learned something super cool about Squatchy. So, in 1987, he was worked for the WWF, and he was called the Mongolian Malakan. You know that? Yeah, did you know that?
Are you making this up?
No, ask him.
When?
He's a WWF wrestler called the Mongolian Malakan. I thought it was just
In 1980?
84 or 5 or something like that. Yeah, pretty cool, huh?
I don't buy it.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Tell us the truth. Is he pulling my
He'll-
leg?
He'll tell you. He'll tell you.
It
Anyway,
is not unlike him.
Helen, happy harvest. Welcome in. Kent, good to see you, my friend. Greatest name on the internet
Half of them.
is in the house, as is Jane Marie. Welcome in. Carrie Davis is in the house. My buddy Scott. What's up, Scott? How are you? Going to see you. I hope to see you tomorrow. American
Oh, that's right.
Yep, American Roots. Hope to see you as well. Says hello, everybody. Good to see
Oh,
you.
hey, I have. If you're interested, I found 4 turkey eggs. If you want them, you can have them and add them to your collection if you want them.
Let's see here. Let me go back here to Helen Happy Harvest. She says on the news, 60,000 pounds of walnuts were stolen from Bronx, New York. I want to laugh because it sounds so ridiculous and petty. And there's a comment somewhere here what someone would do with 60,000 pounds of walnuts. Well, I can tell you what I would do with it, Helen. I would gift it to American Roots Farm in exchange for completed cinnamon rolls.
Cinnamon rolls.
That's what I would do.
But if you divvied them out to different people, you could get cinnamon rolls. You could get, those little candied nuts that you get sometimes at Christmas time at the mall or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Terminator's in the house. Good to see you. The king himself, Jeff, Juicy, Hefty, Lefty, Amazon, Mud Dauber, Slick. Phyllis is in the house. Good to see you, as is the beautiful Louise.
Lewis Wesley. I do realize what you were doing, though. Lewis Wesley.
Louise Wesley.
Yes, you were. You weren't calling her something different. You were just putting the punch on a different where it doesn't belong.
So I said it correctly?
You were saying you were just saying it so fast that it sounded like Lewis.
Cal was here. What's up? Good to see you. Lisa, welcome in. Jules, good to see you as well. Mandy, Permatopia Farms, says still working outside and listening. Love that. Royalty themselves, Life with Mike and Jen is in the house. Jen, how are you? No lives complete without a
pack rat.
Yep, see, there you go. Let's see here. And Mary Michelle, welcome in. See, there's Squatchy right there. He don't disagree.
He's saying hi.
Yeah, he's saying hi, but if he disagreed, he would have told you he disagreed.
He's not answered yet.
Yeah. Louise answers to anything. Anyway, so what else is going on? What's going on in your world? I haven't seen you much.
I'm still working on taxes. Yeah, you've been in a lot of different meetings.
Yeah. I had a cool meeting yesterday. I spent a couple hours in a room with Congressman Smith talking about electromagnetic pulse. And if you guys ever want to, I don't know, maybe I'm just a dork, because to me that's so super interesting. I was going to say.
Yeah, I know I've had to iron a lot of suits this week.
Yeah, I've been all over the place. I got another big one on Monday that I've got to go do, but it was
I'm
cool.
glad you're doing it.
Yeah, it was cool. We got to talk a lot about, the government and its needs and their concerns and
how you can help
and how I can help them and those kind of things. But having and guys, whether you like politicians or not, I'm not a big fan of most of them, but whether you like them or not, they're not the they're typically not stupid to get there, right? So you get a chance to talk to some,
Pretty smart
pretty smart
fellas.
folks along the way in that. And it was again, I'm not going to go into real big detail because I don't want to, violate any trust or anything, but it was a really, really, really good conversation, and I'm hoping it matures into, some other things. But let's see here. We got Harry Ken Hepworth, and of course, the beautiful Paula is in the house. Packrat says, my bride was working on taxes too this week. I'm so thankful for her. Yeah. I'm glad Bee just handles that stuff, and she does it every year.
Well, and I had to stop. I had the accountant called and was like, I need you to stop what you're doing and get me this information. Hopefully by Friday. Like, she gives me a week. And I was like, those are, if you call me, I can answer those questions right now. And she was like, she called me. Like within 2 hours, she called me and she was like, yeah, what do you got? And I was like, this is how this is, and this is how this is. And she was like, oh, you just answered so many questions for me. And I was like, just follow the paper trail. Like there, it goes from here to here, and then it goes back. Because it's just, I put it somewhere so I know where it's at. That way, when I need it, I can grab it. And she's like, I know you were like, why do you do that? And I'm like, because out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, usually
Taken care of.
The theory of out of sight, out of mind and taxes don't go together, just so you know.
Well, no, because I have to like shoebox it away, and then I like, boom, it's gone. And then I have to like shoebox it away, and then it's like gone. So if I'm not like collecting and like putting it away for later, then if it's right there, then it's like, oh, look at what we've got. So, no.
She's got some serious issues, folks. Serious.
I just do it my way.
Hey, Thistle Creek, welcome in, by the way. Terminator says, Tag, I'm going to a community meeting with my neighbor. Our township is addressing our zoning bylaws. My neighbor is a horticulturist, and she is concerned about agriculture here. Yeah, there is,
As she should be.
Terminator, there's so much stuff going on everywhere. It's, I do lots of research on these things, and, there's people upset petitioning, their government every day now, every county. I mean, it's going on all over the place. I get emails, because I'm pretty active in my community. I get emails all the time from people saying, hey, I'm in such and such county, and, what's this, or how do you do this, or how should I fight back? I had a guy in a little town in my county, not a town I go to very much, but talk about how he felt like the city commission was unfairly putting new business ordinances on the businesses there. And you guys have to understand, this is a town of, I don't even know, 200 people, 300 people. I don't know how big it is, but it's pretty little. And, they want to be the big city and all that. And so anyway, I tried to help him how to get through what's called a KORA request, which is Kansas Open Records Act, and how to go through that and obtain all the information on how it was built, how they plan on enforcing it, the whole thing. And so it's another person in the fight, and that's helpful. I think that the more of these communities that do it, even Terminator to you all the way up there in Canada, the more we get involved in it and the more they hear from us, I think the more they back down. Now, does that mean that we're going to stop anything? No.
Maybe the less they get away with.
Well, we're not going to stop anything, babe, because at the end of the day, that stuff bleeds in through the state, which is harder to change, and then through the feds, which is harder to change. Yeah, but what we can do is we can band-aid it, right? What we can do is we can prolong it. What we can do is try to make it as easy as we can for us, where we live. And if everybody's doing that, that's how you make a big change. You don't do it just one little county at a time.
You can be loud. You can be loud where you're at.
You can be. You don't have to be loud to be firm, and you don't have to be loud to be respectful.
No, but you have to get the word out. If nobody's listening, if nobody knows, then they're just, oh, I learned that. Why didn't we? When we did the town hall, why didn't we advertise on KNZA?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it also, it's really not that hard to get involved, you guys, and every one of you guys can go do it. It's, I mean, how many of you out there could spare 2 minutes a day? Right? Is there anybody out there that couldn't spare 2 minutes a day? Because the fact is, that's all it takes. You can, go create a page, go create a Facebook page that says, Smith County Freedom Watch, and start paying attention, and then put a post out every now and then, or study a topic that you love. Like, You know, one thing I really like is jury nullification and the responsibility of a jury. And so I can talk about it and I can just type posts and I can do those things, or the schools, or, you know, whatever it is. But just go get involved and do something. And I think you'll be happy with the outcome. Squatchy says, so glad ours were done yesterday for his taxes and the Loper made it happen. Gotta love that. I can't wait to be done, but it'll be a while for us still. Would you
I'm
agree?
getting there.
Yeah. Well, typically we are pushing the line at the end of the year every
Yeah.
year. And so
No, I'm trying to get it done as soon as possible so I can move
Yeah.
on to the garden.
Stan Guthrie, welcome in. One step closer. Good to see you, bud. Yep. So what else besides taxes? Because these people probably don't want to hear about your taxes.
No,
I don't want to hear about my own taxes. So
no, but that's what I've been either that or dealing with the. I thought we had all 70s and 80s to 80-degree weather, and I turned the valve on to start collecting water in the turkey barn, and now I find out that we're supposed to be getting 11 degrees on Sunday. So I'm like, and then we took the rubber trough over to the paddock or pasture too.
Mhm.
So I had to use the metal trough, and I drained as much as I could into both of those, and then I filled all their like rubber buckets up, drinking troughs.
Well, you got something out of it then.
Yeah, and then I put the rest of it, drug the hose down to the pond, and emptied the rest of the, because they were how big are those tanks?
375 gallon. You got
Okay,
two
and
of
there's two of them, and so whatever was left, I just emptied into the yard, into the pond.
Yeah, when you guys are building and you're thinking about animals and that stuff, it's one thing that I found really neat is we have a pond right in the center of paddock number 1 where kind of all the animals bed down, right? Where the kind of their home base besides, you know, the other paddocks that go on. And so there's a pond right in the middle of it. And because the barns surround this pond, running our gutters into the pond help keep the pond full, which again gets, you know, recycled back through the animals. And so we've gotten to a point now where we don't have to water anything 10 months out of the year.
Yeah,
Right, 10 months out of the
unless
year.
something's locked up.
Unless you have something quarantined, right, or something like that. But typically you don't have to do any watering for 10 months out of the year. And sometimes it's like this year was 11 months, really, right? How many times did you have to break ice this year?
Often.
What? How many times?
I don't know. 25.
Okay. That's my point. So 11 months out of the year this year, you know, we
Yeah.
got to get through it, which is, you know, pretty cool stuff. But
Yeah, and everybody knows exactly where to go. That's
yeah,
a big enough pond that they know and you just go right to the same spot and
yeah.
dig your holes, and they just go right back to the same spot.
And when we built it, we sloped it very, very light so that you didn't really have an
That's a
issue
big
of.
slope.
What's that?
Yeah, that's a big slope.
Well, that's pretty light compared to the other ponds,
Oh.
as far as how fast it drops off.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Because they can walk in there.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they can go walk
Yes,
into the
they
bellies
could.
pretty easy without, you know, drowning.
I had to fish the big mineral tub that we got, 50-degree winds,
Mhm.
50 degree, or not 50 degrees, 50
Mile
mile
per
hour
hour.
winds. And the mineral bucket was in the pond. So I had to go and fish the mineral bucket out of the pond, which
You a
is
fisherman?
pretty muddy. No, I got a long branch
Mm.
and used it to fish it, just turned it over, and then used it like a boat and tried to pull it to me and got it out. But it was pretty muddy.
What?
Yeah, that mud is it's like
Yeah.
very fine mud.
What else you got?
But-
You want to talk about some corn? Because that was fascinating.
Oh, so I had seen a post about corn having a warning on it from that if it was manufactured or put together in Thailand, that it had a warning on it for like the cancer warning, California cancer warning.
And she's talking about Walmart brand corn here, by the way.
Yeah, just
Okay.
great value.
I'm just filling in the blanks.
What was it? Whole kernel sweet corn. Just that was it. So you look at the ingredient on one of them and it said corn, salt water, and then the other one said corn, salt water. But the difference was one of them had an ingredient from, or it had a warning for cancer from California cancer warning. And that one was 90 calories. to where the other one that did not have the warning on it was 45 calories. So then I went and looked in the stuff in on our cabinet, and we had one can that was just whole kernel corn, and it said corn, salt, water, and it was 45 calories. And then the newest one that I bought, because there was two cans, one on top of each other, and the one underneath had corn, water, sugar, salt, and it was 85 calories.
Mm.
And the front of the package didn't have, it looked exactly, the fronts look exactly the same. You really just need to watch every single thing, even if it's something that you're used to buying, you know what's in it, you really do have to stop and look at every single package to look at. First of all, like manufacturer date, because some of that's pretty crazy too, and then also the ingredients, or if you could just grow it yourself.
I was gonna say that's really the moral of the story is,
Grow
you
it
know,
yourself if you can.
well, and you don't even have to grow it all, and we don't grow all of our
No,
own food.
but
we grow a lot of it.
I'm gonna try to grow as much as I can this year. Even if I don't do 100 tomato plants, even if I can't help as many people, maybe I should just put more options of things out.
Yeah, the only problem with that is that when comes to preserving it,
That's
you have
true,
to bring
especially like
everything
tomatoes,
out.
you have to
You
do.
might as well do a whole bunch. You broke all the equipment out. You did all that stuff, and you got to stand in front of a cook stove for all those hours. You might as well get a bunch out of it, I think.
Well, and with the tomatoes, you got the salsa, you got the spaghetti sauce, you got the tomato juice or vegetable juice, and then you take all the skins and the seeds from those, and you dry and grind those down for soup thickenings and such. And I mean, there's so many. If you want to grow your own food, if you want to provide your own food, you do have to do it in bulk in order to
That's
make
what I'm saying.
worth.
I think you have to grow 100 because in order to make it worth, in order to last, to create all your own spaghetti sauce, all your own salsa,
Yeah.
all those own things, you're gonna have quite a bit to do
Sauces, juices,
right, to last for a year.
Yeah.
Because I think the real goal for all
Ketchup.
of us should be that, and if and for anybody listening in the audience that would not consider themselves some type of prepper, you need to learn to be, because our system's very weird and it's very fragile and there's a lot going on. And I think getting food independent to the greatest degree we possibly can is kind of where it begins, and it's just so critical.
Yeah. The beginning.
Yeah, the beginning, right? Hey, I want to welcome Skane's Girl in.
Yeah, get to the single ingredient foods.
Yeah.
Put them together to make a meal.
Yeah, at least you can. I had Carrie Davis's comment up here. I didn't read it, but it said, read your labels for sure. We're trying not to do any processed food.
Amen.
But it's so hard. Well, it's nearly impossible.
Yeah.
Right? It's impossible by design. I mean, how in the world can they keep you working all the hours you work and all the overtime and all of that if they don't keep the machine running? And they're not going to keep the machine running, right? Unless they can make this cheap, hurtful foods.
Well, they're using their byproducts to make our stuff. So like it's something that they're like, oh man, we have these tubs of stuff. It's gelatinous goo. What can we do with it? And they're like, well, let's see what we can do with it. And they start boiling it and adding stuff. And they're like, hey, it kind of tastes okay.
Put it in a hamburger.
Maybe we should feed it to them. And they're like, yeah, let's just, if we can't pass it along to the humans, they're like, let's put it in the dog food.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been eating their byproducts for so long that
it's good though, because I think the further you get along, the more committed you get to it, and I think we talked about this on the last Friday Live, but eating a McDonald's hamburger is disgusting. Buying hamburger out of Walmart's gross.
it's expensive. My gosh.
Yeah, but regardless of that, it's like a lot of things. People are like on a solar system. I hear this all the time.
Oh,
it's like, Tag, what's your break-even point? I'm like, I don't know. I don't even care. That's not why I did it.
Right.
The chances are there probably isn't a break-even point. They're going to sell you that it's a break-even point because this is the cost. This is what your electric bill is. You add inflation to that, assuming the current levels of inflation, and your break-even is 15.5 years. But the truth is that it won't be long right there, and you're going to need new batteries, and you're going to need new parts, and things are going to break, and all this stuff. So it really isn't I don't really see it as there's a break even ever. It's kind of like saying what you break even on food. Well, I
Yeah.
promise you, we pay more money for our tomatoes than we could go buy them for every day of the week.
Yeah, but they taste like a tomato.
Correct. Yes, correct.
So it's actually like
Yeah.
a tomato.
Yeah. What else you got, bud? You want to learn about? You're gonna.
I think you didn't. I give you some pictures. You were gonna.
Oh yeah. You gave me
Let's go
five.
through that. 5. Yay!
Hey, so today, guys, I thought I was up here working, and I'm working on the live, which is what I do every single Friday, and I'm just sitting up here reading through stuff, and then when it dawned on me, it was Friday the 13th. Me being the dork that I am, I thought, hey, wonder where Friday the 13th comes from. And so anyway, I just thought I'd share with you guys what I found today because I thought it was pretty cool. Let's get rid of that right there. So the history of Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th has long been considered an unlucky day in Western culture, but its origins are a mix of mythology, religion, and historical events. The superstition around the number 13 has roots in Norse mythology, in the tale of God's dinner in Valhalla, where Loki, the trickster god, arrived uninvited as the 13th guest. He caused Hur, the god of darkness, to shoot Balder, the god of joy, with a mistletoe-tipped arrow, killing Balder and bringing great suffering to the world. Christian tradition also plays a role. The Last Supper, held on Maundy Thursday, had 13 attendees, Jesus and his 12 apostles. With Judas betraying him the next day, Good Friday was the day of Jesus' crucifixion. Whoever wrote this, some also link Friday's bad luck to Eve giving Adam the apple and Cain killing Abel. Historical events. One of the most cited events is the arrest of the Knights Templar on Friday, October 13th, 1307, ordered by King Philip of France. Thousands were imprisoned, tortured, and executed, with their leaders cursing the day before his death. This event is often cited as a turning point in cementing Friday the 13th's bad omen status. The superstition appears in literature as early as the 19th century. In France in 1834, mentions being born on Friday the 13th as a cause of misfortune. In 1868, Rossellini's death on Friday the 13th was noted in biography, linking it to his personal belief in the day's ill fortune. 1907, novel Friday the 13th by T.W. Lawson depicted a Wall Street panic on a Friday the 13th, helping to spread the superstition. Little did he know, 23 years later, it had happened, huh? Oh my goodness, the term parascave dectrophobia, the fear of Friday the 13th, was coined in the 20th century. From secret societies like the 13th Club in the 1800s to horror films and modern culture, Friday the 13th has become a symbol of bad luck and suspense. It occurs at least once a year, sometimes up to 3 times, and remains a fixture of superstition and entertainment.
Well, we had just had one not too long ago, also, right? On Friday the 13th.
Helen says the Knights Templar were poised on that day. Yeah, pretty cool, though, huh?
Yeah.
Now you know more about Friday the 13th than you ever needed to know, right?
So it's been
going on a while.
Yeah, for quite a while.
Did you know before reading that, I would have told you that Friday the 13th was because of the movie Friday the 13th?
I was going to say,
yep.
I thought so too.
But apparently there's a lot more to it than that. Hey, as you guys know, we did that big town hall meeting, and guess what popped in our local newspaper? So this is the front page of the newspaper. So obviously this was a pretty big event. I think this picture is a great picture to show you guys how many people were there.
Yeah, that looks great.
Isn't that excellent?
Yes.
And you can see up on the screen, or up on the stage up there's the 3 commissioners, me, and Stanley. Trying to, working through the questions. Isn't that cool?
Yeah. It was a nice event.
Yeah, I'm hoping I need to get in town tomorrow and get a paper, because I actually don't have this paper, but I'd like to keep it because it's just pretty cool. Helen says elevators don't have the 13th floor. Probably because people think it's unlucky, huh?
No elevator?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've ever really paid attention that much to it. But anyway, so this is the actual text of the town hall meeting. They did quote me in there. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. It says that I said, according to Kansas Department of Revenue, the county's budget authority has increased 35% since 2021. During that same time frame, incomes have only grown by 3.9%, and inflation increased by 19.6. It's really the only quote. Pretty much all the rest of them there are all just about, the commissioners and how they responded to things. And it's actually been kind of interesting since the meeting. I've had, I don't know, 8 conversations probably with one of the county commissioners as they try to deal with some of the backlash that came from the meeting, and particularly around budgets and those kind of things. And
Has there been quite a bit?
oh, there've been some, yeah. They said that they'd been gotten some phone calls and that, so they're going to release a public press release on their response, particularly to that claim of 35%. But
was 35% wrong?
well, not according to the Department of Kansas Revenue, it's not. The number was taken right off of there. But babe, it's not quite that simple, because the other thing that happens a lot is they move buckets around, and you probably don't know what I mean by that. But anybody who's ever done accounting knows what I mean by this. Like, for example, my payroll expenses goes in bucket 6220. Payroll expenses, and then advertising goes into another bucket, and so they move all these buckets around, and so anyway, and then there was one last page. So that was the front page, and then it continued on. You guys look how big it was, right?
This whole page?
That whole page continued on page 8. And guys, in my little town, this is how you know that that people were reached.
Was this, they had a tribal?
Well, one of the topics, one of the 2 questions we got was,
I thought it said tribal, like they released a statement.
No, it was about relations. The question was asked to the commissioners, what's being done to improve the relationship at the reservation?
Mm-hmm.
And another question was about, are they really refusing water to parts of the reservation? So they got a chance to go through and answer that. But yeah, so that was a pretty big topic. Alternative energy, as you guys can see, there was a pretty big topic. And so I'm very curious to see what happens in all of this. Right. And by doing
right. Is it over? I mean,
well, I mean, there's some of it you're never going to be able to measure, because I promise you, somebody who attended that meeting or who reads it in the newspaper or who's seen it on Facebook now becomes an activist.
Yeah.
Now gets involved, and
opens their eyes to what was going on.
Yeah. And so if all we manage to accomplish, say at the worst end, let's say we open the eyes to 2 families, that's 2 families that are going to do a lot better in the future, and they're going to thrive a lot better. Right. And 1 less refugee is another great way.
I'm going to say maybe they'll just store a little bit more food.
Yeah, maybe they will. Or
maybe they know that now the government is not out to help them.
Yeah. Or what if something else magical happens, which is 4 or 5 or 6 people start to get really involved, and then people like me can go on to a different fight because that battle's being waged.
Yes.
Right. And so maybe through that and not just me, guys, I'm just one guy, but anybody,
right?
Anybody in the community that then can go fight at the state level or fight a different topic, or even better yet, what if 5 or 6 people get super awake in this and each want to pick a topic, and one becomes
the schools.
That's right, and somebody becomes the absolute expert in the school and how the budget works, and then we can just run around supporting each other.
Yeah.
And
then you show up, and then they're like, "Uh-oh."
Yep. Right.
Oh, and then like, "Oh crap."
Yep.
They're here together.
Yep. Part of the reason, you guys, I share this stuff like this with you guys is I want everyone to understand it can absolutely be done.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to show you it can be done, because we're doing it. And again, not just me. There's a whole bunch of people in our community that work their tails off, not just at their job that pays their bills or their homestead that they're trying to build, but then gives more. Right, to help put pressure on things and help change the hearts and minds of people. And right. Yeah. And so you just don't know where it goes to. I think at the very least, we will have changed some minds. At the very best, other people take over, and we can go on to fight another fight and wash, rinse, repeat, and get 5 or 6 people to take that over, and then move on to another fight. And hopefully eventually you wake up one day and not everyone, a good chunk of people are awake, alert, and on watch, which is what we the people have failed on. We the people have been asleep at the wheel for a long, long time.
Oh, we've just turned a blind eye.
Yeah.
It was easier.
Well, is it?
It was.
Is it? Is it now?
Well, not now.
I mean, you look back at it and, we're, $38 trillion in debt, which if you count every living human being in the United States of America, it's $113,000 per person.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a
I mean,
bit,
you're
quite a bit.
for any of you who are still, children bearing age, your children are born with $113,000 in debt. Yeah, it was easier to be asleep at the wheel. What did we just do to them?
Yeah.
Think how much better their life would have been through the course of their life if they didn't enter it owing $113,000.
Yeah, like if we were all just
Yeah. I mean,
even at the end of the year.
Jules says, what if 5 or 6 people run for office and make real change? Oh, 100%. This is kind of what I mean by getting involved. Getting involved is a lot of things. We talked about the school, get on the school boards, or, the county commissions, or, all of those kinds of things. I get asked all the time to run for those kind of things, but
Good grief.
well, here's the problem is I just don't think I'm best served there.
Well, you don't have any more time. You'll
Babe,
have to stop doing something
listen,
you're already doing.
we all make time for the things that are
I
important.
know, but then
So
that's what
not
I'm
having
saying.
time-
You're going to have to stop doing something that you're already doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
But
we barely see each other as it is.
yeah, I really think it is, I'm just better served in another place,
Yeah.
and I think, I think I'm just better served in another place. We'll see. Yeah. Jen said that accounting's creative accounting. Yeah. Yeah. I'll never forget. There was a time in my professional career where I worked for a company, and we were at the end of the year, and we were trying to figure out, the books for the end of the year and all that stuff. And the chief operating officer looked over at the CEO, the chief executive officer, and said, "Do you want to be profitable this year?" I will never forget that moment. Right.
Oh, crap.
Well, what he was saying is, it isn't total crap. What he's saying is,
Yeah, it's
how-
made up.
well, not totally, because the thing is, you can change things by how fast things get depreciated, or whatever it is. Which, if you take a big lump off the expenses, it's easier to be profitable.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's kind of what they meant by it. What do you got going on the farm this week?
Well, we had a baby on Saturday, and it's a girl. This is Brownie. Brownie's the mom. She's the brown one, obviously. And then
What'd you name it?
the baby is Blackberry.
Okay. So we have one blackberry and one's brownie. I bet none of you can guess which is which.
Yeah. Unless you're watching on a black and white. Yeah, so I walked out to do chores and just stumbled upon this little babies. So I had I had Brownie and her sister Corky in the barn for a good week while we had some bad storms, and our neighbor had said, if they're gonna give birth, you want to keep them kind of in so that you can kind of watch them and keep track of things. And so I had kept them locked up. Well, we had a really nice day, and it was like 70 degrees, and it was fully sun, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and open the doors and just let them out. So I'm gonna go inside. It'll be like, I don't know, 4 hours, and I come back and walk right in and walked right past this little black baby, and I'm like, come back out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got a baby. It's like, of course, like as soon as the day that I let them out, she has a baby outside in the yard. So I'm looking around, making sure there's not another one somewhere, because this was the day that, of course, they're outside. Look around, make sure there's not a baby. Find like a pile of, debris up by the door where her stall is. So she wasn't too far from her stall. And brought the baby in and dipped her umbilical cord in the iodine, and then tried to get her to nurse. She was already nursing. She was already dry. She was already nursing from one side. You could tell her bag, the mama's bag, was pretty swollen on the right side, but the left side was not. And so I tried to get the baby on the left side, and she wouldn't go. She wouldn't take it. And so I went and got a bottle and tried to milk into the bottle.
Oh yeah, tell you something about your milking story.
Yeah, so her teat is like, it's like, okay, so I went and helped the neighbor milk her cow, and I was milking this cow, and her like whole boob, her whole udder was in my entire hand. It took my whole hand to milk this cow. I was like, fine, had no problem. Well, I mean, I got kind of used to it. So I go out to this goat, and her teat is so swollen that it's like sticking out wonky. And I'm trying to put the baby on it and trying to put the baby on it, and the baby is like just like, I can't do this. And so I get this bottle that I bought from Tractor Supply and my goat supplies, and I realized that the nipple needs to be cut because there's no hole through it. So I'm like, okay, well, cut that. Go out, try to milk the goat, and I'm like, her teat is so tiny. It is like the size of the bottom part of my pinky. And so I'm like into the bottle, which is like literally like the size of a water bottle. And so
How was that again?
I'm trying to
Well, what kind of sound did it make?
trying to get the milk, and then I'm like, it's not coming out. And when the neighbor had come over earlier, she was like, oh, it was plugged, was the word she used. And she's like, I got it. And I was like, oh, well, thank you for unplugging it. Well, so I get out there and I'm like, well, no, it's going to be plugged again. Like, what does that mean? So I'm like trying, and then so I'm like trying this way. And I'm like, okay, so I got some on my hand, which then I put at the baby's mouth, and then I bring the baby over, and she's like smelling it, and she's like, oh yeah, I like that. And so I'm like, okay, well, here's the teat, and like tried to like get the baby to if I could just get the baby to latch on, then she'll get it, and then she'll be like, oh hey, it's not that hard, I'll just eat this. And so I got about a tablespoon of milk into the bottle, which then the baby was like, I'm not eating cold milk out of a bottle. And so, and the teat like on the bottle is bigger than the teat on the goat. And I'm like, well, this is stupid. Like maybe there's smaller goat bottles. I don't know. So, anyways, I did learn later. Save that story, I guess.
Go ahead, tell it.
Well, so later, the neighbor came back over, the neighbor lady came back over, and she was helping me out with another goat thing. And I said, yeah, like I'm having trouble getting her on that left side. And she was like, oh, I see what you're talking about. And she's like, oh, that's easy. Do you want me to just to milk her real quick? And I'm like, for what? And then she's like, well, if to get it down so that the baby can latch on, or whatever. And so then she ended up just taking that milk, and she actually like took her whole hand and like pushed up on the teat, and then like drug down, and then like the milk was like a continuous spout. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, her reaction, I probably startled her, because I was like, oh my gosh. And she was like, and I'm like, that was like totally like, you can do that? And she was like, here, yeah, watch. And she did it again. And I was like, oh my, that was way easier. Oh my gosh. All I needed was just like somebody to show me. What I was doing was not working. I even showed her what I was doing, and she was like, oh yeah, that wouldn't work. She was like, yeah, you just gotta really like push up in there, because that's what the babies do. And I'm like, well, yeah, I know, but like I didn't know like her teeth
Is she now in your
so
circle of trust?
tiny. Yeah, she was in
Is
there
she in your
before.
circle of trust?
She was in there
Okay.
before with the whole chicken snatching right out of the. She like the first time I met her, she was like, I don't even know why we were in my chicken barn, and I was like, oh, let's show you my chicken barn. And so she was like, oh yeah. And then just as we got in there, one of the chickens like threw up, and she was like, oh, that's not good. She goes, I can fix that. And just then the chicken launched herself off of the roosting bar and she snatched that bird right out of the air. She goes, bam! And she goes, I can fix that. She goes, go get me a syringe and some apple cider vinegar and some, I think, olive oil. I can't remember. This was so many. I think that was what it was. And I was like, done. If you're going to fix whatever just happened, I didn't know that was a problem. And she was like, yeah, she's got a sour crop. And she like, oh, that's what it was. She showed me how to syringe the chicken in the mouth, which then put in my mind to syringe the chicken in the mouth, which was started my whole bad,
Waterboarding a chicken to
my
death.
whole like bad experience. Like, not, it's you, like, just because, you know, my badass neighbor can do it doesn't mean I can do it. No, there's like tricks to it. Yeah, so she just like, and then she was like, and then she tipped the bird upside down and like, boop, it all came out. And she was like, then she did the oil, I think, and then did the same thing and boop. And then the vinegar again. I don't know. There was like a thing to it. And then bird was better.
So definitely in your circle of trust.
Yeah, she was there a long time ago. Like from the first day I met her, I was just like, what just happened? First of all, like at that point in time when they would like take off light over my head, I would go, you know, but she was just like, snatched it right out of the air, brought like a football. Anyway,
It's good to have friends.
yeah.
Hey, we'll be cool.
It was
Welcome
really
in,
cool.
David. What's up, buddy? David wants to know if she is Canadian. No, but she's definitely from the north.
Yeah.
Just not that far. Yeah, but good to have friends, right? All right, you want to get back to your goats?
It was super helpful.
One of the things I thought was really, really cool about when she was giving birth and the baby was there, all the animals wanted to be involved.
Mm-hmm.
So the dogs, that's in the pen next to it. You can see them over there messing with it, but that's Rosie, and she wanted to know what was going on. The geese were super interested
Yeah.
in what in the world is going on over here.
Today the geese were really upset.
Why?
Lucy attacked me twice.
Mm.
She had to go and take a time
It's not a
out.
she.
He.
Yeah.
It
Lucy is
he.
a boy, by the way.
It is a he. That's probably why he was mad. I keep calling him a she. No, he had to take a time out.
Hey, Mark, what's up, buddy? Says all the animals love the babies. Yeah, it was really weird. It was we have a lot of Ace Ventura Pet Detective moments on the farm, where all the animals
They
gather
gather.
for something, right?
Yeah.
Like
Not just food either. It's
Yeah.
pretty. Yeah. They love to be pet. It's like a petting zoo. It really is.
Mhm.
But the goat, I realized that today when the goats,
Mm.
I go in there just to check on things and they just cry out until you go over there and you can put your hand in there and they'll come and they'll just put their face on you and they're just
Mhm.
quiet. They just want to be by you.
Yeah. Mark says, and I agree with him. That's probably Bee's fault. It's 100%
It
Bee's fault.
probably is.
There is no argument there. Hey,
I-
Instigator, welcome in. By the way, and congratulations, you got to be outside.
Since the baby's been here, I've been out there at least 5 times a day just to make sure that she's nursing on that left side
Yeah.
or right side.
One step closer. Got a question for you.
Yeah. It was,
Right. It was
I was told that like the,
Ryan Gosling and Lucy Goosey, right?
yes,
But they both ended up boys.
they are both boys. I was told that when they have a big horn, a honker, that they would be boys. And one didn't develop until like much later. And so I thought it was a girl.
Mm-hmm.
And it was supposed to be like a mating pair.
But it was two boys.
They,
I'm glad they're not mating because
they
geese,
don't mate.
they have their purpose, but I am not a goose fan. We keep them around because they're great protectors.
They let you know if anything's around
Yeah.
that's out of the ordinary, that's for sure.
I have to beat on them all the time.
Maybe that's why.
I'm not putting up with it. They are not doing that.
So
to me.
that's the thing. If you just pick it up, the
Mhm.
one that bit you, if you just pick it up, so like that's what I do. I just pick it up and walk it to the pond and I set it back down. I'm like, you are a bad goose. And then I walk fast up to the barn and get doing what I'm doing. And by that time they had forgotten about what they were
Mhm.
doing. Or they can't find me. I don't know.
We should tell them about this story.
Yeah, this was an experience. This was quite the experience. So we got goats, and the goats that we got were disbud,
Debudded.
debudded, and kind of because they have these like little ones that are poked through, but I've been told that they won't like grow into anything, and if they really hit it hard, they'll like fall off. But that they still kind of have these little buds. Um, so I've been told that I don't want these because this buds or these horns because they get stuck in fence and
Yeah.
they ram you with them and just all kinds of things. So I was all for I'm gonna do this process and this was gonna be what I do. And I had no idea what it was. And the neighbor said that one of the neighbors around said that they could do this. That they had the equipment, this little box that like is perfect for this. And you can see here in the picture on the right how so the it's like a bench that you could sit on, but it lifts up and the goat is inside. This is called a budding box or a debudding box. And it's customizable for the size of the kid. So there's that like 1-inch foam board that's like silver on one side or both sides or whatever, cut the size of the box. So there's layers on the bottom to raise up the floor and then layers on the butt side to like make it so they can't but go backwards because it's you could customize it for the size. But anyway, so this process was very meticulous of shaving the fur and then marking the buds and then making sure all of everything was hot appropriately so that you're not causing any inappropriate or any unnecessary
harm,
pain or harm. Yes. And so, and you could see on the finished side, the
first
side.
picture is after it's done, and that had to have been painful. How'd you feel about it? Was the baby upset?
So at one point in time, I mean, she screamed out one time, and then basically I think she just passed out because she was sitting there and her mouth was kind of open, like she was breathing. You could tell she was breathing, but her head was just down, and I was like, I got so sick to my stomach. And I said something,
big sissy.
And my neighbor was like, that's fine. It's totally fine, totally common. You're fine. And she was like, I felt that way the first time I had done it too, but having the animal,
they will have a better life.
Seeing it. Just doing it right and not having to have any issues.
She did a great job.
Literally by the neck, like, so we took the baby after this and give baby back to mom. So like I get the baby and I'm just holding her just like, after we have babies and they get vaccinated or whatever, or they have fevers and they have to do something with the doctor and they get the baby back and you're just holding it and you're like, loving it. And so I carry baby back. We give her back to mom, butt side first, so that mom can smell like this is my baby. Soon as mom smelled the butt, she was like, oh yeah, this is my baby. She starts licking and she's licking and licking. And then she gets to like the head and she goes like, she stops and she like takes a step back. And then my neighbor goes, let me in there. I need to intervene because I need to get baby nursing so that she can smell baby butt again. And because you can smell the hair. And then I'm sure like the cleaning stuff, I need to like get first of all better pictures and then like pay attention. I mean I paid attention, but there was a lot. So like getting a picture of the purple stuff. That was a particular stuff. And then there's, the spray and
that purple's coating you put on it, right?
Yeah.
to help
Yeah,
it
she
heal.
put it on a Q-tip, and I like held the Q-tip while she did this, and then
Helen wants to know, why do you do that to a goat? Well, it's really what you're doing is you're stopping the horn from growing.
yeah,
And because the thing about goats is they're ninjas, and they get into everything and they get caught up into everything. And this will, I can't tell you how many, there's a goat farm not very far from me, how many times I've drove by there and stopped and got out and tried to help the goats get their horns out of the fence.
well, and they break their necks if you don't get
Yeah.
to them in time, or if they
Yeah.
wrestle real bad, because we've seen that too, where the goat was just like
Yeah.
hanging there.
Yeah, the horns serve a very important purpose in the wild, right? Because there's a bunch of predators, but here we provide all of that for them. This will let them live a longer, better quality life. And it's not that bad. Like,
Well,
think about
so-
like taking remember the old cigarette lighters that used to come in cars, right? Just a little iron. And
Yeah.
You just, right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. And anyway,
I mean, it was a butane budding wand. That was the appropriate equipment for the job, and yeah. So
pretty cool.
I was impressed, and she had said, I said, how many of these have you done? And she's like, at least 50.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, and the first time I did it, I was actually sick to my stomach. She said I had to learn on YouTube because it was 2020, and the person that was helping me learn things after 2020 was like, I'm sorry, I can't see you in person. And I was like, what? And she goes, yeah, she told me that she couldn't see me in person, that I had to basically learn it on my own. And so she went to YouTube and learned a bunch of things and then started it, and then she's been doing it for years now.
Mm-hmm.
But what was I going to say about that?
This lady's really skilled. She's an absolute huge attribute to the community. She's very quiet, but
she is
very smart.
Yeah, with her animal husbandry, she is
Yeah.
a definite superstar.
Yeah.
And she had said, like, the next day, she's like, contacted me. She's like, first baby should be fine the next day. And then
Yeah, well,
next
this
day
is-
she
this is-
contacted me, and
Him the next day, or her the next day.
yeah.
See how the you see up on the top of her head, it's not all purple anymore hardly, and
Well, the purple is still there because it like stained it.
Mm.
I mean, it's dark
Yeah.
like her body, but it's not like scabby. It's not like it's not open. It's not. It doesn't look.
Mhm.
It looks super clean. For a goat in a barn,
Right.
sucking on a teat
Right.
from a dirty animal, and
Right. We have another one going to be born any day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully,
And this one has been, I mean, running around, jumping, just having a grand old time. I did have to take the sock off because it was too tight around her. She's outgrown your sock.
yeah. Thank you for using my socks like that.
Well, I mean, look, it had a hole in it, so
There's a lot of use left out of that sock.
yeah, not as a you wear
Mama
it.
says no.
Uh-uh.
All right.
But the baby's doing great. Mama's doing great. She's actually still I don't know, she's like bleeding. I don't know if that's not necessarily, I heard that's not necessarily
Abnormal.
not necessarily normal.
Mm. Your vet
But-
said it was not abnormal.
He just said to keep an eye on it. Like if she's not having a fever and she's acting fine, baby's nursing fine. That's why I've been out there so much, just kind of checking and making sure everything is. Are you okay?
Did you know?
Everything okay?
Did you know when I changed the slide, that's your cue to go on to the next topic?
Yeah. Don't be mean.
I'm not being mean.
Yeah. So Tag went in and took my dirt that I had in a pile and scattered it about. This is the orchard
Mhm.
potato.
This is in the food forest. But we
Potato
used
rings.
a corner that we don't have a lot planted in, and I made rows for potatoes.
I still have to go in there and kind of move things
Yeah.
around a little bit so that I can get around. But he did this with a skid loader, so
Yeah, the skid loader, for anybody that doesn't know, is a hatchet. It's not a scalpel.
yes.
But it's a great
places,
hatchet.
It
It's a-
places it in the right place. You
Yeah.
have to go in and sculpt it.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So,
And I'm going to cover this with hay. There's a hay bale right there for it. I'll go in there and spread the hay down.
Yeah.
I have 100 pounds of potato
Seeds ready to
started
go.
or
They're probably ready to go.
And in this last week, we've had a few 70-degree days, and I went down there and wheeled the whole cart outside so that it could just air out.
Mm. So
crust
we're gonna get rough weather this weekend, but come
Mhm.
Monday, it's time to plant potatoes. Like anytime in there, right?
Yeah.
Anytime after that storm, it's time for us, and we'll start the gardening season with the first planting, which I'm super excited about. We've got a lot to do this year. Like I said, we're gonna grow a ton this year. I'm actually considering inviting some locals to come garden, just to work on those relationships. But there's issues with that, but definitely considering it.
But we've got the potato area here done.
Yeah, one more thing, and
well, not done. I've got to put the hay on it. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows.
Yeah, and they're pretty long.
North and south.
The skid loader, again, as you guys can see, can place it really well. Right, and there's not a lot of work to do, but there is work to do.
Yeah.
Right.
And I can run the mower up and down these rows so that I can mow around each one of these berms.
Mark says, that's your orchard? If so, do not plant taters near it. Yeah, it's quite a ways from any of the fruit trees, but yeah, there's just in there's probably 40 fruit trees in this fenced in area, probably.
Yeah, this is the back corner to where there's no trees on this side yet.
Mark says blight and fungus could occur.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. So
we have this dirt we move around. It had potatoes in it last year, and then we pulled it around and set it into a pile with a bunch of debris, and then we took it and spread it to. When we go to dig up the potatoes this next year, we'll yank it back up again. Right? We're gonna scoop it back up again.
Next year.
Yeah.
I ain't worried about next year. I'm worried about this year. I'll figure it out as we go.
We just got this year taken care of.
Yeah.
This is the orchard that what we did. Then between the two gardens, we have this trampoline that's been falling apart for years. Look at the sky. See the 1, 2, see all the streaks in the sky. And then 2 days later we're gonna have a storm. That's how it rolls. So he had this extra dirt from one of the gardens and he put it in a pile and decided to use this area between the two gardens. This has it's fenced on 3 sides, so all I would have to do is run 1 row of fence across the east side, and then this too would be a enclosed area, to where the dogs or
what are you gonna plant here?
I was hoping to do like the 3 sisters here. Jen had started some corn. I don't know if she has already, but she was going to start some corn, and I was hoping to put the corn in this area. How big is this, do you think?
Oh, that whole fence row is probably 150 feet. So
well, no, just the dirt.
I know. I'm doing the math.
Oh.
That's 150. That's about half. So it'd be 70 by 20.
You think that's 70?
Probably.
So if I can get the 3 sisters in here, then that would make room for other things where I had the corn last year.
Yeah, so that's corn, beans, and squash. Ugh. You could have picked something a lot better.
There's other things that you could, like, instead of corn, you could use sunflowers. Instead of I think you do have to use squash.
Yeah. Let's see here. David wants to know if there's anything strange about the weather, but this whole year's been incredibly weird with weather. The whole weather's weird. We had an 80-degree day this week, and it's going to be 11 degrees this weekend with snow. So, I mean, that's a 70-degree swing in a week, right? So is that weird? I would consider that to be weird.
Yeah.
Hey, citizen broadcasters in the house, welcome in. Yeah, Mark said after a few storms, no more trampolines. Yeah, this one would have to go a long way to hit my house, but point for sure. Let's see here. Jen says, I did some, but we'll also bring the seed too, as well as the squash and scarlet runners. the fourth sister is Sunflower.
Mm.
Yeah, Mark said, yep, 4 sisters. Let's see here. Yes, Jeremy, no.
4 sister.
Bad Jeremy. Bad Jeremy.
Squash.
Yeah. Jen says squash helps block out weeds and keeps the soil moist, more moist.
Yeah.
One Step Closer says you could use watermelon or cantaloupe instead of squash. Yeah, I like that.
Jeremy.
Good job.
We have to use squash.
He was just hooking a brother up after the squash comment from earlier. Yeah, Instigator says zucchini, crooked neck, straight night, Crucial butternut, Georgia candy roaster, delicata. I don't know how you say that. Long Island cheese, more squash. No. And I like how he snuck in that Long Island cheese like I'd fall for that. No.
We could try it. There might be something in there you'd be like, I'm really enjoying this one. And then I'd be like, done, buddy.
Hey, I'm continuing to work on my pickup. I just thought that since we got it into the paint.
That's a pickup.
Paint booth. Yeah, this is a pickup, believe it or not, everybody. This is a 1973 Chevy 1-ton crew cab. And I've been working on restoring it for several years now. And it's got a brand new LS engine in it. That's a LQ9 6-liter LS. So it'll be all fuel injected and all, modern, etc. But we've been painting, getting all the jamming done. Those are the inner fender wells.
Have you paid your taxes on this yet?
No.
I think you're supposed to start paying your taxes when you buy the parts.
Well, I paid sales tax on all the parts. They got their taxes
individually.
I paid them already. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, could you imagine that?
That's bolts.
Those are all the bolts. Yeah. To put the body back together. So.
Yeah. Did you poke them through the cardboard?
Yeah. Yeah. You clean them up. And then poke them through the cardboard, and then when you're spraying something else, you go through and spray those. So, I buy bolts to match. Yep. Right.
Yeah.
Let's see here. RN, welcome in. Let's see here. It says I'm thinking bean season before, but do check me on that. And Apocalypse goes LS, perfect for these high prices. Yeah, no doubt, especially a 6-liter LS. And it's an LQ9 versus like an LQ4, which. The difference is the LQ9 only came in the Cadillacs, and it had higher output and all that stuff, which is why we picked it. But we debated on a diesel or a gas for a long time. But anyway, I chose the gas. What else? So we've got a project coming up here. This big tank I've had sitting in B's barn for.
Look how dirty it is in there.
Yeah, I know. I can't change that. It's your space.
It's because the chickens go in there every time I clean it. And I put the hay in with the animals, the chickens go in there and they tear it all up. And that dust from the hay goes all over the inside of the barn.
Yep. So I bought this tank because I'm going to run the gutters to the barn into it. And so B will have rainwater storage inside of her barn, which is really important. And so I have a project buddy, Mario, speaking of Mario
Project
right there.
buddy.
My project buddy, Mario, said, good evening, happy Friday. To all our homesteading and freedom fighters. So anyway, they're getting ready to come out here for the festival that's coming up here on April the 11th, which I'll remind you guys again tonight. But anyway, he always calls me. He's like, hey, what's the project?
I love that.
Yeah. And so we debated it a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the rainwater system in, not just the gutters. We're going to put the rainwater system in, the pumps, all of the stuff, and get her rainwater system operating inside of her barn. We're going to get a grain room built. We're going to get a sink, an operating sink inside of the barn, and we're going to put a filler on the outside of the barn so that when you come by with your UTV, you can fill up directly out of the rainwater.
That would be awesome.
So this is a project I've got coming up. I have to spend a little bit of time, slowing down just a minute and figuring out all the parts and all that stuff so that I minimize the amount of times we have to go to the store, although I promise you we will be going to the store because that's just how that stuff works. Let's see here. Terminators.
Because that's how Mario rolls.
Let me see here. My scrapyard son works for was just let me know they cannot ship motors overseas. It's been shut down and the auto parts are not allowed to be shipped. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff going on with that, Terminator. That's going on all over. Let's see, where am I at here? Yeah. Okay. Instigator said 3,500 gallons. Yep, 3,500 gallons. Which this is going to be great because we can run this to a trough with a float and it'll just stay full.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Just don't even have to do anything with it, But anyway, we're gonna work on it here.
I need a
coming up.
rubber chop. I hate those metal ones.
I maybe get you one tomorrow. Tag, y'all missed scallop squash, which is white and delicious. We bake it in butter and avocado oil, and it's wonderful.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
write that down.
And I think up here somewhere, she's trouble, but I'm gonna put it
Scallop.
up anyway. Yeah, I don't even no idea how to even say that.
Squash.
Kirkubita. I don't know how to say that. I'm assuming that's another squash. What do you think? Anyway, it made it. Instigator says scallop, aka patty pan squash.
Oh, the neighbor grew those once. I remember him saying that.
Why I told Bethany that I may get her one tomorrow. We have a farm auction tomorrow, which I'll be going to tomorrow morning. I don't know how many of you guys do these, but I'm going to tell you, and if you can get yourself to a consignment farm auction, there is so many things there that are so helpful to a homestead, from steel pipe to gates to fencing to, like, look, I just picked a couple pictures of a big white water tank. See, like a water tank like that would be great inside your barn because the sun's not on it.
Yeah.
Right? It would serve a great purpose. And imagine if I could buy that tank for $150 or $200. You know what that tank costs new? That's a $3,000, $4,000 tank. Right?
Yeah. Depending upon what was in it.
It depends on what was in it. Right. But that's so hard to tell, because I mean, everyone says, oh, it was just water. Everybody. Let's see here. She says, sorry, the Vining family. See, Jen, you have to keep it simple
There
with
you
me.
go.
Thank you.
Vine.
Let's see here. Dana says, yeah, Terminator, you were on Pinballs Live. I'm getting auto maintenance suppliers quicker now. See here, Mario says, we are going to Tim Allen, the shizniz out of that water system. Yep, that'll be fun. Maybe I'll do a video on it. Let's see here. Arden says, scallop squash has runners as well as the main plant. Dana says, oops, Modder Refuge. I got lost. Oh yeah, one step closer is tools, lots and lots of tools. And there's things like at these auctions I like to buy. Like if there's ever push brooms with like broken handles and stuff like that, like the heads of push brooms I like to buy because I screw them to a metal pole and then the cows use them as scratch pads.
Yeah.
And they work great, don't they?
Cows, goats, if they can reach them.
Yeah. Well, I could get some lower enough for the goats, right?
Because they like that.
Just screw them on a pole, and if you put a bunch of them around take a 3-inch steel pipe, concrete it in the ground, and then just put heads all the way around it, it'd be there for a long,
What do
long
you
time.
screw it to with? A bolt?
So I drill a pilot hole, and then I put a metal screw in it. That's for that. But so anyway, I'm looking. Hey, Hakestraw 54, welcome in. Anyway, got this going on tomorrow. I don't know how long I'll stay. I don't know any of it. I'll see when I get there. And
Is this a current picture? Is this the stuff that's there now?
yes. Well, I just took it right off their website today. So, and they're often changing the photographs. So I would assume that that's true. But basically, there's two auction trucks, and they drive up and down these roads, and they auction everything off. Great place for millions of things. Let's see here. Mark says there are some non-GMO rare heirloom seeds at the Denison Library for free if you'd like to try some exotic produce. We would love that.
What?
We would love
write that down.
that. Yep. I donated a survival seed bank a couple years ago. They donated some seeds. Seeds you prod. Maybe we ran out of space, Mark. But yeah, we would love that. We'll always take
You'd
those
love,
kind of seeds.
maybe.
Huh?
Some seeds you'd love, maybe.
Well, yeah, any of that rare.
Oh, some seeds you would love, and maybe. With the Denison Library. I didn't know Denison had a library.
He says produce. Yeah, seeds you produce.
Mm.
Yeah, Mark, B is really good at collecting her seeds. Like what we grow here has been grown here for a long time. And they're also all the heirloom seeds. They're all, it's the ones that she likes. There's some of them, her loofah seeds, you've been growing for a decade probably, right?
Yeah, quite a while.
Long time. And so all come off the original ones.
Same with the butternut squash I got back in 2017 from the neighbor.
Yep.
And I started those at the Mayetta house.
Yep.
And then now grow them over here.
Yeah. Yeah, super cool. Let me see here. teamed up with Baker Creek. You did? Yeah, Baker Creek's a good
Nice.
company. Yeah, but anyway, looking forward to the auction. I have no idea if I'll buy anything. We'll just have to see when I get there. Like I said, I did not drive up to take a look at it, but that's coming up for me tomorrow. Don't forget, we're posting the happenings of the community events on the Great Plains Homestead Happenings page on Facebook, and the Spring Festival's April the 11th. We would love to see everybody. You know, get together, hang out, enjoy planting, enjoy that time of year, enjoy each other, and then, of course, eat like a king.
Eat, plant.
You know, eat
Yeah.
is really the big thing.
There's a bubble. They're gonna have like a kiddie pool
Mhm.
with bubbles, and then they're gonna use like a big giant bubble like
Machine?
wand.
Okay.
Like you could put a kid in the middle of it, and you could like
Oh, that'll be fun.
you can like put a bubble around them.
That'll be fun. Yep, and if any of you guys are coming, hey, bring your kids. It's
Yeah.
totally for the family.
Yep.
You know, we'll hang out. It'll be a
We're gonna do beef and chicken sliders,
mhm.
and then bring a side to share. Please include a list of the ingredients with your dish so that those with dietary restrictions can make informed choices. There-
Jen says I have baskets, making some fun giveaways and opportunity baskets.
Oh yes, we're not doing a raffle.
That's right. 'cause
We're
it's
doing
get
an
in trouble.
opportunity event, and there's some really cool items.
Mhm.
There's some really cool items, and food is served at 4. What else?
Just come eat. It'll be fun. Hang out all day, eat.
Yep. Bring some food.
Yep. Watch the kids run around and play, and then everything in the middle.
Bring a chair.
Yep. I think the next one will, and again, I don't know if Scott's still in here or not, but when I looked at the calendar, I believe would be July 4th, because we do it on that
Okay.
Saturday, right? So then the
I'm not sure.
yeah, the Freedom Festival, I think this year will be July the 4th. I'll have to confirm that to you guys later, but that looks to me like that's how it's going to work out. But
Oh, also here on this it says free table.
oh yeah, that's a great thing. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so it says bring what you don't need and take what you do. So some person last time brought like an entire bucket full of eggs, and somebody else brought some potatoes, and somebody else brought a gingerbread house, and somebody else brought some boots, and somebody else brought a coat, and
Mm-hmm.
all of the items were taken by somebody who could use them.
Mhm.
So if you have some things that you know don't need, can't use, don't want, and you think that somebody else could use it, you could do that. I
Yep.
think anything that's left over from that if somebody brings a bunch of stuff and they're like, I can't use this, or
Mhm.
know,
Take it home with you.
you could take it home with you. Yeah.
You know,
As I say, we could also just load it up and take it to the Goodwill. Use it as a donation.
yeah. Grateful Hearts Ranch, welcome in. Jen said 250th anniversary. Yeah, it's going to be great. And yeah, so I think we're going to have, let me say, I don't want to give a percentage. I'm 90% sure we're going to have the same fireworks team from last year. So, Mark, to answer your question, it is completely fireworks focused. As long as we do what we did last year, it was a lot of my neighbors called to comment how it was, better than Holton,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool, to have it out here. And what's really cool about it here too is you're right up underneath it. So, your distance
feel it.
isn't the same. I mean, it is, yeah, really intense, really, really cool. But I'll keep everybody posted on it, but it should be right around July the 4th. And then again, there's one in the fall for the Harvest Festival, and then the Freeman Festivus in December or
December.
January. Yeah, which none of those are scheduled yet, but I'm pretty sure that one will be that. But anyway, you guys should come out. You should come out and hang out with all of us, and
Yeah. Stop in and say hi.
enjoy all the farm food. That's the best part of it's the food, I think. Oh, we don't need to do that one. Let's just get rid of that one. What do you think?
I don't know.
We made it through one of them.
Perfect.
That's pretty cool, right?
Yep. Only took us an hour.
Hour and 13 minutes to get through it.
Nice.
Yep. I would really love to see you people, out at the festivals. I think it's just a great time to relax and hang out and build friendships and bond and trust, because I promise you guys we're all going to need it. And that trust don't come easy. And it's especially with people who like this kind of life. We're used to, being alone, and we're used to doing it ourselves. And then you get, stuck together with a bunch of people, and it's, you got to learn that trust, and that trust don't come easy.
Yeah.
Hey, Homestead Twins, what's going on? So Homestead Twins, I actually met them, if I remember right, at Self-Reliance Festival. But anyway, we do out at my farm we do 4 small community. I say small, there's 150 or maybe 200 people there. Get-togethers a year, and the next one coming up is April the 11th, and then July the 4th, and I don't know what the fall one will be. But it's not really like self-reliance. It's not really like Midwest preparedness. There's no real agenda
There's no
beyond
classes.
No, well, sometimes if somebody wants to, we could do that too, but it's really not about any of that. It's about just hanging out and enjoying and getting to relax and getting a
Yeah.
break from the farm and and those kind of things. But anyway. The Homestead Twin says, "Yep, that's correct. We had several good chats. Yep, we did. Yep, I remember." Mark says, "Always alone. I know the feeling." Yeah, well, this is just the way that I think this lifestyle, from my perspective, kind of calls you to do that, to be very self-reliant and very self-dependent. But I'm going to tell you something. Without community, Mark, you have no hope. Because I promise you, you're going to age out. I promise you. As we all are, And,
Well, eventually you'll need something.
Yeah, and there's just no way. I was a soldier, and I can tell you that you're only effective, like on a watch or a guard or something like that, hour and a half. Maybe the really good ones 2 hours. But you just need other people, and again, even producing your food. I don't think that it's possible to produce all your own food.
It's a lot.
It would be a lot. It would be. I mean, it's something you're gonna have to get up and do every single day. Well,
Yeah.
if you get up and do it every single day, you don't have time for anything else, right? Because fences still need fixed, animals still need tended to. You still got to figure out a way to make an income, whatever, right?
Well, and then just like this week when one gives birth, then you've got to stop what you're doing to
Yeah.
tend to what's going on. I
Yeah.
don't know what would have happened if she didn't start nursing on that one side. If
What was interesting about that, B put dinner in the oven that night and said, "Go ahead."
I don't want to. No, I want to hear your side of the story.
She says, anyway, she says, "Hey, here's some. We're gonna put some dinner in. I'm gonna go do chores, check the animals." So typically chores for us are 15 minutes, right? 20 minutes.
Well, yeah, it depends. On
You
what's
go
going
collect the
on.
eggs, feed the cows, feed the
Yeah.
goats, you do your thing, come back. But anyway, the baby was born, and so
And we had something going on that Saturday.
where dinner is in the priority list falls behind the animals.
Yes, it did.
That's my how
You
like
didn't
that.
get dinner. Dinner got out of the oven, and then it was after your meeting, still sitting there, cold.
RN says, "Tag, I am sure you all have thought about what y'all are." I don't understand the question. I mean, yeah, I don't understand the question. I'm human. I'm male. So you guys think. You're female, right?
Yeah, I am. I was reading.
Yeah, Mark says, "People don't understand how much work is involved, and they are too spoiled and lazy to do any of it." A lot of people are, but there's a lot of people who are just scared by fear.
Or they don't know.
They don't know.
They don't know
that-
any
yeah,
different.
and they're paralyzed. And I think one of the arts, Mark, for people like you and for me, that kind of rhymed, huh?
Arc smart.
Is we have to figure out how to meet them on their level. And if we're going to change hearts and change minds, and we're going to encourage and build up, and we're going to help people achieve that, that ultimate goal of freedom, we have to figure out how to meet them right where they are. And it's hard, but it's something I work on every single day. Hey, One More Rock, how are you? Good to see you.
Welcome.
Now, let's see here. This creates disconnect between a person and their food supply. They choose to eat trash from Walmart. Well, it's easier. They've made it easier. I mean,
It is easier.
it's been programmed to be easier. I promise you.
And some people don't know any different. They're like, oh, I think I'm doing all. I went and bought corn. Didn't even look to see if there was sugar in it. I thought that there was corn in it.
Well,
Corn.
but when the system,
Even that.
But babe, when the system makes it cheaper and easier
To do.
that, we're busy, and it goes all the way back. I mean, go all the way back to the women's lib movement when they took ladies out of the home to create another tax base.
Yeah.
And now we live in a world where costs are so expensive. Both parents have to work.
Yeah.
How do you work and pay your mortgage and do all that and produce? I mean,
they have a dishwasher and they
Yeah.
have a washing machine and a dryer and they have a microwave and they have a stove and they have all these things that you just turn on and then it just does it, and then you can walk away. When you got a fire going and you put food on top of that fire, you can't walk away from it. That fire is gonna catch more on fire. Catch the whole thing on fire. There goes your dinner.
Yeah, RN says tag. I'm sure you all have thought about how y'all are going to handle when you all reach 70 or 80. Yeah, I actually have spent quite a bit of time trying to make processes easier. It's just like the water catchment, that we're going to do coming up here pretty quick. Just makes things easier. And it's funny, I was having a conversation with my neighbor today. We were talking about that, about machinery and being dependent upon machinery. And, the counterpoint that I always say is, yeah, but if you use machinery now, you can build the infrastructure. You don't need the machinery. But without that machinery, you're going to kill yourself making the infrastructure.
Oh my gosh.
Right. And so, yeah, we've thought about it a lot. I've tried to build the house in a way that helps us live here as long as we possibly can. I hope that one of our kids wants it at some point.
Yeah, hopefully.
I pray for that. And, I guess we'll just have to see. Let's see here. Mark says, even organic isn't organic. This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. I want to eat it off my farm if I have my choice. Mechanical advantage is a blessing. It is a huge blessing. I hope we have lots of time to continue to use it. I hope.
Yeah.
We want to get into some news going on today.
Sure.
You want to?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. This was I thought I would start tonight's good news off with some good news from our president. Now, I am a little bit suspicious of this post, just so you know. Now, it was posted on his Truth Social page, but it just doesn't seem something that like a president would say. But in fairness, Trump says all kinds of things you wouldn't think a president would say. So
Right.
kind of hard to tell. But he says stock markets are crashing, job numbers are terrible. We are heading to World War III, and we have two of the most incompetent leaders in history. This is not good. What a way to start it out, right? Let's see here. Oh yeah, Jen, for the win, or a farm locally you can be bartering with. Yep, 100%.
Right.
Good catch. Let's see here. News at chat. Has anyone seen that MIT has confirmed the injectable nanotech it's been waiting about for years is real? There's actually a lot of stuff out there about that. Again, I don't have any firsthand knowledge, and Mark, I tell everybody, don't believe anything I say, believe everything I say, because discernment's really tough these days. But anyway, let's see here. In an explosive Fox News interview that's rocking the world right now, the senior White House official dropped a bombshell announcing we want to do is to get such massive oil reserve in Iran out of the hands of terrorists. And I put this in because, a lot of people say, well, why are we over in Iran? And guys, Iran's a gigantic deal. For anybody who thinks we're going to be in and out of there in 2 weeks, I'm telling you, it ain't going to happen. But I do at least appreciate them saying what they think it's absolutely about, which is oil, right? I would love to believe that this great country, the greatest country in the history of the world, in my opinion, was going over there to stop oppression. But, my experience in my time in the military and then the things that have gone on, I have a hard time, believing that. But in a bombshell statement that's exploding across the internet, President Trump drops the hammer. Iran has no choice but unconditional surrender. We talked about this last week. And to say that it has to be unconditional surrender really draws a big line in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
And that won't be easy. If you guys think that the war that we spent years at with Afghanistan was hard, Iran's way worse, right? They're going to dig in, Is there any way you could turn up your microphone? I don't know, bud. But we're going to find out. How about I do this?
Oh, you're going to touch. Just said
We got it.
unplugged.
All right, Mario, how about that? Tell me if that's better. Because it should be.
Nope.
Let him answer.
I bet it's unplugged because the thing just popped up and said it was unplugged.
No, it's fine. Yeah, Hippocrates says it's fine. Anyway, we're talking about unconditional surrender. This pretty much, alleviates the... What are you laughing at?
That's indeed.
It's louder. Sound is better. Okay. I just moved the microphone closer to me. But anyway, the unconditional surrender thing, I think, draws a line that ensures we're going to be there for years and years. And, that's really unfortunate because this country, regardless of why you believe that we're there, right? Regardless of all of that, this country really can't afford this. Right. Our country cannot. We are not in a great place for that. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to cross $39 trillion in debt any day now. I mean, that's going to equate. I mean, we're already at 133,000 per resident, right? We're not in good shape. We don't have the money to be doing this, but I'd really hope that it would be for good reasons. Romans Girl, welcome in, says, remember, Trump is a negotiator and he will take a hard line like unconditional surrender and then give a little to bring it back in. Yeah, I get that. But
That makes sense.
again, I think that's fine when he has total control. But how easy is it going to be for him to do that? And Romans Girl, I appreciate your stance on this, but how easy is it going to be for him to do that when Iran's launching missiles into Israel, right? Or the Saudi Arabia, or wherever. G Dog, good to see you, says Iran is only 407,277,400 acres. Should cover that in a couple weeks, right? Yeah, it's just not going to happen. It is just not going to happen. We're going to be there a bit, and it's going to have a lot of spiraling outcomes that are going to affect, in my opinion, all of us. The Pentagon is moving a Marine Expeditionary Unit into the Middle East as Iran steps up its attacks on shipping at the Strait of Hormuz. According to two officials who spoke with the Wall Street Journal, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth approved the request from U.S. Central Command. Now, I think I've thought about this a lot. They're deploying troops to Iran, but I think they're deploying them to, I'm hoping, just to cover some islands to protect the strait, and not really thinking about a boots invasion of Iran, which I think would be, again, a gigantic mistake. Redacted talked about, in case you missed it, Congress is automatically registering every man aged 18 to 26 for the draft. Now, this is a little bit old news, but just thought I would add it because I think this is relevant, that it wasn't very long ago and they got rid of selected service. So when I was growing up, when I turned 18, I had to go to the post office and fill out a little card and register for selected service. They got rid of all of that. Now you're done. It's done just 100% automatically. And, again, I hope that wasn't for a buildup. U.S. Senator Richard Blumenthal, after leaving an intelligence briefing, says, and I quote, "In my 15 years in the Senate, I have never left a briefing this angry. We are heading down a path towards sending U.S. troops to Iran as ground forces." Support for ground forces is very, very low at 20%, as 74% opposes. I hope we don't. In a studying development, the United States has surged an unprecedented armada of strategic bombers to the United Kingdom. This is kind of interesting to me too, because if they're saying, and they are, if you guys read any of the posts that are out there, they're saying that Iran's been devastated. They have no navy, they have no army, they have no missiles, they have no nothing, that they're barely hanging on. I mean, they're bringing in big time power, right? They're not bringing in little power. And I've been saying this for a little while. I think the Western media is shielding us from a lot of what's actually going on. I think there's a lot that's happening over there, that we're really not seeing. Iran threatens, and again, they say they're done, right? But Iran threatens continuous strike, warns of $200 oil. And again, we talk about what are the outcomes of all of this. Now, I don't know if it could ever really reach $200 oil simply because of Iran. They're a big oil producer, but there's a lot of big oil producers, right? Venezuela and even the United States, the number one oil producer in the world. A lot of you may not know that, but the United States actually produces more oil than any other country. But so I don't know if it could happen, but just to put that into equation, do you know what $200 in oil would do? That's $12 a gallon fuel. Could you imagine?
A gallon.
A gallon. Yeah, that means it would take $6,000 to fill one of your tanks out there.
Yeah.
That wouldn't feel good, right?
No.
Let's see here. Instigator says, when we were told that there were troops in Iraq, how many had already been in Iraq? Probably many, right? Specifically the special forces and, some of those, the Marine Expeditionary Units, another great case. I know of at least one that had been in country before it was official. Same with Vietnam, correct? Yeah, and I would bet you, Instigator, that there have been, special forces troops in there for some time, specifically guiding, laser munitions, things like that. G-Dog says, not exactly what I want to hear from someone leaving a classified briefing. Usually people talk more general. I know. And, G-Dog, this is actually something I've spent a lot of time. Are they purposely becoming more and more open? I mean, the conversations about aliens, the conversations about all this crazy stuff that goes on, right? Pam Bondi saying that if they prosecuted all the Epstein clients, it would crash the country.
Yeah.
I mean, are they doing this on purpose to keep us in this constant state of fear? or is everybody just fed up? I don't know, but I think that's a super great point. Let's see here. Hormuz crisis warning. Senator Chris Murphy says that the Straits of Hormuz have been closed for 10 days. Iran is now mining this strait, meaning laying ship, mines for ships out in the straits, making it much harder to reopen. He warns this closure could trigger a global economic catastrophe. And again, to G-Dog's point, I mean, here's another senator, a senator. When I was growing up, they would never talk like this, right? They wouldn't want to scare the people. I mean, they clearly know that if they did, it would scare the people, which is why they hid it from it in the past. So do they not care that the people are scared? Do they want the people to be scared? Right? Absolutely crazy. Let's see here. Mark says it's up to 35 that can be drafted, and in a state of emergency, Congress can push that to 45. This includes your daughters. They changed. Get your rucksack training in. Yeah, I really hope it don't come to that. I have boys who are in those age brackets, and I would not like to see that at all. Jen says, sounds like an opportunity to introduce a new type of currency. Again, what's the motive, right? Never let a good opportunity go to waste, as they say. Yeah, Mark says they changed definitions. Yep, true. G-Dog says oil trading is crazy. It could get close to 200, but it's only speculation. Only 20% of oil goes through that area. Yeah. Put into perspective, oil was $18 6 years ago. Yeah, $18. Yeah, G-Dog says, yep, it's spiked to $18 a barrel on speculation. Wonderful. Excuse me. Let's see here. Pete Hegseth was just asked flat out how many American casualties are there, and he refused to answer the question. Instead of giving a diatribe about how some of the injured soldiers have returned to their positions. What the hell are they hiding? The journalist asked. I actually kind of agree with this. I have watched a lot of cell phone video from over there, and it sure seems like there have been plenty of missiles that have hit plenty of places on both sides. And if that's the case, you wouldn't have a death toll of 7.
7.
Which is what they're claiming 8 now, if I remember right. I think they're claiming 8 now. But anyway, I kind of think they're hiding a bunch of that stuff because it just doesn't seem to make sense to me. U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham, again, senator, right? Lindsey Graham has dropped a bombshell announcement. Graham says, and I quote, Israel and the United States, you just wait to see what comes in the next 2 weeks. The reporter says, meaning what? Graham replies, quote, we're going to blow the hell out of these people. I don't know. I don't really like that kind of rhetoric. I think, to say something like, not that I support it, but to say something like we're going to change the regime or we're going to target the military bases or the leaders or whatever it is. But to just say that we're going to go blow the hell out of these people, guys, I promise you, there's a whole bunch, millions of great Iranian people.
Yeah.
Who are just trying to live their lives, who are just trying to, raise their kids, work a job.
Just want to be left alone.
Just want to be doing their thing. And so I think this is super, super, dangerous. Over the last 10 years, we've spent $1 trillion, $1 trillion a year. We spent $10 trillion on our military, which, by the way, annually we spend more on our military than the next 9 countries combined. Okay, annually, but we're up to about $10 trillion over the last 10 years total. If you look at all the spending, and this just seems ridiculous to me. Let's see here. Mark says, both of my kids are in that range too. I'd volunteer before they take my babies. Yeah, the problem is they won't want you. All 4 of our kids are in that range. Yeah, it worries me, and it's just, I think we've got plenty of problems at home we should be dealing with. There's just plenty of problems at home to be dealing with. And not to mention, we've got chaos at our border at Mexico. Venezuela still isn't super stable, right? So there's just plenty of stuff to be dealing with, in my opinion. Interesting enough, in a bombshell statement, and listen to this. These are Trump's words, and try to read into it the best you can. But I found this I was going to say great, not great, interesting. Trump threatens to shut down Iran's power infrastructure. We could take apart their electricity within 1 hour. Alex Jones warns Iran sleeper cells will hit Kiev's power stations, an unprecedented attack. So, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later too, about all of the threats. But listen to what Trump said. We're going to take out their electric capacity in 1 hour. There's really only two ways that happens, as far as modern warfare goes. And one of those ways would be some kind of cyber attack, but that would be really hard to take them all out in one cyber attack. The other way is through an EMP. And so, my question is Trump threatening to EMP Iran? I mean, right, babe, let's listen to his words, right? We could take apart their electrical capacity within 1 hour, and it would take them 25 years to rebuild it, quote.
Yikes.
So what would take you 25 years to rebuild it? Well, I can tell you guys, and you guys know I have some experience in this, that, those main transformers like that are in our country, I mean, it could be 5, 6, 7 years before they replace them. That's just a fact. So what would take that amount of time? And I really couldn't think of anything else. But I find it interesting that, in my opinion, Trump threatened an EMP. Jen says, a rich man's war and a poor man's fight. Ain't that true? I just hope. This was crazy. I don't know if you guys seen this today or not, but there's been lots of rumors about Benjamin Netanyahu being killed in this fight. And then he recently spoke, came out after 4 or 5 days of him not making any appearances, came out and spoke. And if you look really, really close, people are really starting to question it. And if you look in this picture here, where the first picture where the red arrow is, he's got 6 fingers. And I tried to blow it up top right so you guys could see it. See that?
Oh, maybe that's not a finger.
Does that look like a pinky then? Assume that bottom one isn't there. It really doesn't look like.
It could be, just the angle of his hand.
Maybe.
It was,
I don't know. Looks awful weird.
Because, look, you can only see the first 2 knuckles of finger number 1 or finger number 2. If this is finger number 1. So
okay,
finger number 2, you can only see. So it's probably like, you could see like this part thinking like this is a finger.
I don't know. Well, I went and researched just in case he really did have 6 fingers, which he doesn't.
No.
He does not have 6 fingers.
So why do you think that this is an AI?
It could be AI.
Or you think that this is?
I think it could be AI. I think it could be just the way the picture was taken.
A glitch in the
But
matrix.
like if you look right here, babe, it's much clearer.
I wouldn't say that he hasn't been assassinated.
Yeah, I don't know.
And that I've heard that a lot of people have been Guantanamo Bay'd.
Yeah, AI needs to do a better job of making people more flattering. Benjamin, Pete Hegseth, etc. Yeah, this was really interesting, and there's a lot of chatter about this right now on the internet. And again, I don't know what's true and what's not true. Believe nothing I say, believe everything I say, right? I mean, hard to tell. U.S. terrorist alert: the FBI has warned California that Iran has been planning to launch drone attacks from ships off the West Coast. So this really kind of irritates me a little bit. So first of all, if they say that, what they're saying is they could get there, that they could fly a drone from there, and that the military wouldn't necessarily be able to stop them. Like, that doesn't really make any sense to me, unless, of course, this is just scare tactics to keep us scared and fighting amongst each other so we can never actually fight them. But Iran has openly stated that if cornered, they will launch attacks inside the United States. At the same time, the deep state, desperate to escalate the war, could launch false flag attacks and blame it on Iran. So, which is another aspect, right? Are they trying to keep us in fear? Will they orchestrate their own attack? We then blame it on Iran to allow us to put boots on the ground because they want boots on the ground to secure the oil, the 20% oil going through the Straits of Hormuz? Or are they just nice and really warning us? Yep, I don't know. U.S. investigators believe that China now is responsible for hacking and targeting the FBI's internal computers this week.
Oops.
Yeah. Let's see here. Mark says, can't trust anything you hear or see online.
You got that right.
Carrie Davis says, the great BB is a Nephilim.
Nephilim. The Nephilims.
Let's see here. Oh, sorry, skipped one. Mike says, Elvis is still alive. You know what's interesting about, there was a video today, Mike, of, I don't know if you can find it. You probably can on X. But there was a video today that a guy took in a camera passing a convertible, and dude, it was Jeffrey Epstein.
I mean, it looked... Jeffrey was in Canada.
I don't know where Jeffrey is. I wasn't there.
And now where he's in what?
It was in the United States somewhere,
Colorado?
but anyway, it was really, really interesting when he talks about.
Did he have a beard and
Elvis a lot.
mustache?
It looked no, he was shaven, but it looked just like it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Pat
Elvis
said,
is with Marilyn Monroe.
well, that'd be a party.
They live in California.
I mean, at the end of the day, if I could go hang out and party with someone, Elvis and Marilyn Monroe would be up on my
No
list.
kidding.
Right? That'd be a party. In the era, there should be high definition video of Netanyahu's speech to clarify the hand question. Oh, I'm sure there is. Everything I found was questioning it. You know, I didn't find anything that was saying
It's still
otherwise.
AI.
But again, don't believe anything I say. Believe everything I say. Iranians are smart, passionate, innovative, good with cyber, etc. We need a better path to closure. I agree 100%. I don't think it's a good idea at all. I wasn't supportive of it to begin with. I don't, hate them for it or anything like that. Because again, if we really were going to, go over there and help struggling people, I'm all for that. I was a soldier. This is what I joined for. Right? I have no problem with that. But I just have a hard time believing that's it. Mark says, or they want to roll out a high-tech police state after a false flag psyop. Right. Let's see here. President Trump fumes after Islamic third worlders unleashed violent attacks in Michigan and Virginia. I don't know how many of you guys are following this, but since the beginning of March, there have been 4 terrorist attacks in the United States. Did you know that?
I did not.
There was a shooting in Texas on March the 1st. On March the 7th, there was one in New York City, and which I've got a couple slides on that. March the 12th, Old Dominion was attacked, the college, and then the synagogue attack in Michigan. And I don't know why this surprises anybody. I try really, really hard not to ever talk about how, all Muslims are bad or all black people or all white people or all of anything, right? Because I'm telling you, there's great folks out there. But at the end of the day, when you've got people like in Michigan, who are in the streets screaming down with America, death with America, that has to stop. I mean, that's, I don't think we should be, I don't think we as people should willingly, I'm not talking about be made to, because I don't think there should be any law. Free speech is free speech, but I have no urge to go to a gay rally and scream death to gays, right? I just don't. I mean, live your life. You're not bothering anybody. Why do I care? But this shouldn't be really surprising anybody that all this is going on right now. But there's been 4, and I'll talk about them all just kind of real quickly. The Michigan synagogue shooter confirmed was annihilated, who was killed by a good guy with a gun. So basically this guy drives his pickup into a synagogue, and now, I've had a conflicting report just a few minutes before I came live on this report about the good guy with the gun. There's another report out there that just came out that he took his own life. So we'll see how it comes out. But early on, Fox News was reporting that that's what's happened. But anyway, this guy was an immigrant from Lebanon, and he arrived in the U.S. in 2011 on a visa and was quickly granted citizenship by the Obama administration in 2016, and goes on to obviously have the attack. Let's see here. I want to talk about an ROTC cadet stabbed 36-year-old Mohammed Baylor to death after he shot an instructor at Old Dominion University. And what's really crazy about that is, so this guy kills 2, and then in a post a little bit later, and absolutely true, says it doesn't get any more American than college students killing an ISIS gunman who shot 3 people on campus with their bare hands. The students tackled this guy and beat him to death. The terrorist.
Stabbed him.
No, not stabbed him. Where did you see stab?
Oh, I thought it was right here.
No, right here. No, because it's an hour 43. I'm kind of skipping through it a little bit, but there's a chance to try to get it all out there.
Beat him.
They beat him to death, yeah. Let's see here. Matt Wallace says that I spent 30 years combing the internet for the top footage from the Kansas City International Airport. Mass evacuations underway right now. So there are threats of bombs and stuff going on all over. They evacuated again the Kansas City airport.
Twice.
Yeah, there's just so much divide in our country. There's a guy down in Texas who this week they were doing a protest and put the Quran in the mouth of the head of a dead pig in the middle of a highway, and they did a big protest in Texas. Again, lots of divide. There were evacuations. We were talking about the earlier one in New York City. There was a bunch of bomb threats. They thought maybe that it was someone was trying to assassinate Mandami. But again, just another one. And interestingly enough, about the whole Mandami thing. I don't know if you guys caught, his wife's in all kinds of trouble right now because apparently she was liking content that was celebrating the October 7th attacks in Israel. So now she's in, kind of all kinds of trouble. Let's see here. Carrie says, y'all have a great weekend, Freedom Friends. Got to call the Hogs. Yeah, go get them, Tiger. Let's see, Mark says World Cup's going to be crazy. You could not pay me to go to that thing. Planeteer is absolutely raking in data over the past 2 weeks. Every attack on American soil will be triple evaluated with AI to minimize or repeat in the future. Yeah, I'm not so sure that they're analyzing it to minimize or repeat in the future. But I guess we shall see. Let's see here. Dana Green says, truckers are home. I'm missing things. G-Dog says, for every attack, future ones may be preventable with the right data. Well, G-Dog, here's the thing. I absolutely think that AI could absolutely change lives for all human beings. The problem is with AI is that we have to trust the same people that have been enslaving us all these years.
Give it to us.
Yeah, I mean, we're trusting the exact same people that hiding the Epstein list, the exact same people that put us $39 trillion in debt, the exact same people that allow the taxpayers to fund people getting limousines and Lamborghinis overseas, why single moms can't feed their kids. So we have to entrust AI to that, and I think that's very, very dangerous. Just my opinion. Breaking news, Putin allies with Trump on Israel. You guys know that I've been talking about this for a long time, that maybe what's really going on behind the scenes is, Trump and Putin and maybe China, I'm kind of leaning maybe against that now, but maybe China are getting together and trying to fight the New World Order, the Great Reset, whatever you call it, And anyway, so Putin allies with Trump on Israel. Putin declares that the European Union is the only one wanting to continue the war and boycott. The only goal of Europe is to prevent the U.S. president from achieving its goals through negotiations, quote, Vladimir Putin. The U.S. eased, and then right behind that, then the United States begins to ease sanctions on Russia, right? Which I find interesting. And then just after that, Trump admits that Putin's helping Iran in the fight against the U.S., and he kind of downplays it a little bit and says Russia's helping. Let me back up, trying to get the actual quote here. Trump says, I think he might be helping them just a little bit. Yeah, I guess. And he probably thinks we're helping in the Ukraine right now. So it's a little bit, hey, I'll play the game, you play the game, but we'll really look out for each other, I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not, but it sure seems to be something that's made a lot of sense to me over the years. Mark says, I want to talk about trust. They have earned none of that. Right. I mean, how in the world do we entrust something like AI to the exact same people that have enslaved us? Hey, conservative friends, welcome in. I'm glad you had company. I hope it was cool. Let me see here. Trump suddenly pulls Treasury Secretary off live TV. This was really interesting. The Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, was sitting in a chair doing an interview, and someone walked up and said, the president wants to see you right now. He went into the Situation Room, was gone 2 hours, returned back to the interview, and then was stumbling all over his words and was clearly shaken by whatever went on. If you guys haven't seen this, again, just purely from a body language perspective, go look it up, and you'll see him come out of the interview, sit down, and then he was kind of a head case, kind of the rest of the way. Love runs rampant. I think I already said hello.
And you think that he was given bad news or something?
I don't know. I mean,
he came back and was like,
maybe you'll never know is the problem. I don't have any idea. He was in an interview. Someone came out and said, Trump wants to see you right now. He got up, he left, he went into the Situation Room, then he came back, and every question he gets asked, he's stumbling all over it. So it's hard to tell, but you should, from a body language perspective, everybody should go watch that video. Maybe one of these days I'll put those videos actually in the live.
yeah.
But anyway.
Or put the short out.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you should put a short out that says that's the clip of it.
It's all over the internet. But
I know, we don't want to go look for it.
Yeah. Anyway, Rand Paul, I thought this was really, really interesting. He was talking, in the middle of doing his job, and he was talking about $6 to $8 million is what it costs to build the wall, and there's a down on the Mexican line, right? And that there's 1,000 miles needed, so the total cost is $6 to $8 billion. but the government asked for 45 billion and 37 billion unaccounted for. This is why we're not going to fix it. This is why I don't think we can change it at the ballot box anymore. Because how in the world do you fix that?
Wow.
How do you fix that? And again, you know, the American Revolution, our founding fathers fought the American Revolution partly because of tax, and at that time it was 1.5%. And there was other things there too, right? The principle of taxation without representation, you know, those kind of things. But we're not being represented.
No.
We don't get to vote on this stuff. And just absolutely crazy to me that they think so little of their own people that this is okay. You know, or the $600 billion that's missing in the Somali daycare stuff. And, you know, it's just insane. Yeah, Conservative Friend says in that room they see live feed of military action. Yep, that could be it. That's a plausible answer. Look no further than the internet. It was supposed to help and has been used for nefarious purposes, right? Like most other things, there will always be bad guys who abuse good things.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, I could see AI absolutely increasing people's lifespan, right? AI doctors,
Med
you know.
beds.
Yeah, I mean, all of the things that go on. I mean, I could see it absolutely benefiting, but will they allow it?
Right.
I mean,
No way.
Rand Paul just pointed out that they came and got $45 billion of your money to build a wall that only cost $6.8 billion and nobody knows where the money went. And that's how much they think of you. General Mike Flynn warns the reason we will lose our country is because the corruption in our own Congress. Abraham Lincoln said, we're not going to die because of an overseas threat. We're going to die because of our own suicide. Trump will sign an executive orders, and those executive orders will not be adhered to. Hell, we can't even get the Republican Party, the Republicans in the Senate, to pass an ID check for our voting. I mean, that ought to tell everybody everything, how hard this is going to be. And I think his point is exactly right. And I don't care whether you're a Democrat or you're a Republican. Okay, we have zero Russian, the Russian collusion hoax, January 6th, Mar-a-Lago, the Biden auto pens, the 2020 election, the Epstein files, Benghazi, COVID, Doge, any of that stuff. There's never been a single arrest. Yeah. And both Democrats and Republicans have been in office. So what makes you think any of that's going to change? Let's see here. G-Dog says Europe keeps buying gas from Russia over the past 4 years. We allow Russia to sell their oil. It happens in front of us, and no one asks for an exclamation. 100%.
Explanation.
100%. Let's see here, the bombshell announcement, French President Emmanuel Macron, and I think this is interesting too because lines are being redrawn, right? The new lines of World War III are being redrawn every day. But anyway, he says that the European Union will deliver the massive $90 billion loan package to the Ukraine despite, America and all the other countries that are standing against it. And in fact, Hungary and one other country, Hungary has a veto. But anyway, there's 2 other countries there that don't want it also in Europe, but they're going to go ahead and do it anyway. Then he went on to France calls for sanctions against Israel and the United States over their war crimes in Iran. This blows me away. And for anybody that's French out there, I'm not trying to offend you when I'm about to say what I'm about to say. But the fact of America is America has bailed out the ass of the French a bunch of times, right? I mean, they were fully occupied. And, I don't know, for them to use the word war crimes, I don't know, maybe it is. I would really like to see more unity in the world, but apparently not. On Russia TV was breaking that Italy had announced an announcement that it withdrawal from the American-led adventure in the Middle East. So Italy is saying that we want out of what's going on. So again, it's just, I think it's more, more lines being drawn. Back when he was talking about how the Republicans wouldn't even pass the voter ID law, black voters, 76% support voter ID, whites 85%, and Latinos 82%, regardless of party. So it's hugely popular in the country as far as voter ID. And I'm 100% for voter ID. I don't see nobody has given me a logical reason why voter ID can't happen. We get an ID to drive a car. I mean, right? I just don't understand what the big deal is. Stephen A. Smith, which I don't really care for much, but I think he had a great point, and he was just talking about, why don't the government just provide free IDs for everybody? Problem solved. Because, one of the big arguments is
they can't afford an ID.
They can't afford an ID or, whatever. And so he's like, okay, cool. Let's just provide IDs. It's not a big deal, which I think is a good point. When the SAVE Act was passed, registered voters will not have to re-register. which means talk about making life easier. Not only does it make it easier for you and I that we don't ever have to go re-register, but you know what else that it does? It means that we need less people there to register. We need
Yeah.
less government
Less
employees, right? It will shrinks the size of government. This is a
Yeah.
absolute wonderful thing. So when Chuck Schumer says that millions will be removed, is he saying millions of illegal aliens are registered to vote? Right? Because that's the big argument.
Right.
I just don't, again, just don't see, I just absolutely don't see what the problem is. I don't know why it's a, excuse me, a hang up. Elon Musk said that failing to pass the SAVE Act is an act of high treason against the people of America. I think a lot of this stuff is an act of high treason against the people of America. Let's see here. Chicago is flirting with secession. Mayor Brandon Johnson is establishing an ice-free zone, saying that he wants this is his words, quote, he wants a rematch of the Civil War.
Eek.
How in the world do we have elected politicians in this country saying stuff like that?
That's crazy.
That is insane. Absolutely insane. Don't they understand? Oh, they even understand what they're asking for. And it isn't just happening in America. In England right now, retired Army colonel claims UK is headed towards civil war. You have an indigenous British, some of the immigrant population, and the UK government on three different sides of fighting against each other. And I put this in here not just to say that it's happening everywhere, but listen to what he said right there, and I've said this a couple times on my lives. He said you have the indigenous British, the immigrant population, and the government. It's a three-sided civil war, and in our country, we've got the liberals on one side, you've got the nationalists, right, on the other side, and then you've got the we the people, right? I think this was just a super telling thing and a very smart thing. There are posts out there all over America right now saying, make American planes crash again, saying we need another 9/11. People are insane. Let me see here. Mark said, knows why wise man ever desires war. No. Conservative friend says he's a Soros-backed DA. Let's hear. So Colodin 2 is a possibility. You know what's crazy about that? There is nothing you could ask me that I'd be surprised about anymore.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Oh, they get away with a lot of things.
Well, I mean, would you really be shocked if they came out and said that aliens were living amongst us?
No.
I wouldn't either.
Wouldn't be shocked.
I mean, that's crazy to think that. Crazy. Anyway, national debt is approaching $39 trillion. As I mentioned earlier, it's $113,000 per citizen or $356,000 per taxpayer.
Yeah.
So when you think, oh, I'm only on the hook for 113, if you pay taxes, no, you're actually 356. Just kind of so you know. And then if you weren't curious about anything else, this will be something you can look up. Did you know that the movie The Hunger Games celebrated their 74th Hunger Games in the year 2100? That means their first one happened in 2026. I like that. After working 50 years, Mila says, the average Social Security recipient gets $1,200 a month. After being in America for 50 minutes, the average illegal refugee gets $3,800. Right. This is what getting all the way back to what I was talking about before. Are you being represented?
No.
Right. How is this fair? These people who are on Social Security, this is not welfare. They earned it. They paid in their whole life. Did you guys know that for me, by the time I'm done, I will have paid in $750,000 probably to Social Security.
Yep.
I won't get back a tenth of that.
Yeah.
If I'd have just had that money in and could have invested it in a CD, paying 0.5% interest, I'd be way ahead. Is this what we voted?
They don't want you ahead.
Yeah. Did you vote for this? Right? Oh, you see, Matrix Mystery was talking about how prices have gotten so out of control that daycare for their 2 kids now cost over $4,400 a month.
Wow.
But I was thinking this could actually have a really excellent side effect, right? Because as that pressure continues to build,
one of the parents has to stay home.
Don't necessarily have to, but isn't that better for the kids anyway?
Depends on the parent.
Well, that's true.
Some parents want to be parents.
Hickshaw says, I only get $488 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Oprah gives away all of her money and property and enters a convent. Would you believe that?
No.
So I guess there are some things we won't believe. Yeah, will be cool says They Live. Oh, yes. Anybody who hasn't watched that needs to go watch They Live. Let's see here. Sorry, G Dog, I skipped you. It's about equity and equitable. UN Agenda 2030 and UN Agenda 2100, those dates used in movies are predictive programming. And you know what, Mark? I have had some, you're going to pick my words good here. I've had some interesting conversations that all revolve around things happening at 2030 and earlier.
2030.
Mm-hmm. Squadgy says, we're just talking about that with our CPA. Where's the balance go from everyone that passes? Yeah, it goes right into their pockets. Jules says, illegals get thousands and Social Security is trying to stop my SSI because I sold my Kansas property for a small profit. That's such an absolute crock. But the good news is you could move to New York where Ma'am Donnie has proposed to lower the exemption on the death tax from 7.1 million to 750,000. Let me explain that real quick. So when you die in New York, you have to pay death tax on estates greater than 7.1 million, but now they're going to move it to 750,000, which is no money in today's world.
Mm-hmm.
How many houses are worth $750,000? Right?
Yeah.
That pretty much ensures everybody pays a death tax. He also wants to increase the death tax from 16% to 50%. So they're going to take half of it.
50.
You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. New York City has 123 billionaires. They have an average age of 67 years old. If it passes, New York City will have an extra 1 trillion. It's your money. Congress kills bill exposing congressional sexual misconduct. I can't even believe this. Voted 357 to 65. Right? So basically, their sexual misconduct cannot be exposed to you, the people, because you are too stupid to handle it.
Well, they don't want to get caught.
Yep, 357 members of Congress voted for this.
To protect themselves.
Yeah, Hakestraw says, I started paying Social Security when I was 16. So let's use Hakestraw's case right here. Started paying when he was 16 years old, and he gets $488 per month. Paid in his whole life.
Whole working life.
The best years of his life.
Yeah.
Right? We in this country have figured out how to waste the best years of our life supporting a system that's hell-bent on enslaving us.
Keeping you there.
Right. We've got to figure out how to change that dynamic. And I promise you guys, I'll keep talking about it because that is a big deal. Let's see here. Colonel Douglas McGregor tells the Americans to prepare for extremely tough times. Right? Another big named person coming out and giving a warning. You know, I don't know, driving down the road in Bruce Almighty and he's begging for a sign, rubbing his prayer beads, and he drives by a truck full of signs, but yet he couldn't see it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Breaking warning from U.S. farmer. Fertilizer prices are now up 77%. Right? So how does that affect our food supply? I promise you McDonald's will be available.
Yeah.
I promise you that.
And they make like 400 million hamburgers a day, which is...
I found this interesting graph talking about what fertilizers are used by what, how much we use them on each product.
Oh.
Right. And so the biggest cost is in rice and then corn, then peanuts, then cotton, then barley, then oats, then wheat, then sorghum, then soybeans. So rice is what's the greatest amount we use fertilizer. Crazy, huh? Oh, man.
And we can't grow our own rice.
Let me see here. Instigator says, if I don't pay my death tax, I can't die. I like that idea. There goes the rest of the 70-year-olds in New York to Florida. Right, and that has that outcome too, G-Dog. Great point. I hadn't even considered. Now there's migration that brings the rules and the way New York is to other places. Right? G-Dog says, maybe Congress isn't that stupid to indict themselves. They just completely have forgotten who they serve. So crazy they have to protect themselves. And taxpayers have paid $18 million for Congress sexual misconduct slush fund, but we're not allowed to know anything about it. No, that's how they settle it. Right? You know, there's 8 cases on the Jeffrey Epstein case where the people involved have settled out of court already. never brought to trial. Nobody gets to see it. Nobody gets to hear it. Dana Green says we need to vote for no government. I think we would win. I've said this for a while, Dana, but there was a movie a long time ago called Brewster's Millions with Richard Pryor, and basically the premise of the movie was that he got $1 million, but he had to spend it on something because he was such a tight ass that he had to spend it on something, but he couldn't spend it on cars or houses. He had to blow it. He couldn't own anything when it was done, and so his choice was to run for president, and his slogan was "Vote for none of the above." Do you remember that?
Yep.
And so he was encouraging everybody to vote for none of the above. I mean, maybe we need to do a massive social media campaign from every content creator, everybody we can find that says write in none of the above.
Yeah, well, where does that lead us?
That someone else wins, but I think the statement that it makes, if you had 30 million people vote for none of the above, that's like a vote of no confidence. There's still someone else is still going to get in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to be the president because none of the above obviously can't serve. They don't exist. But I think the statement of displeasure would be a big statement too. I don't know. I'd be interested to hear what David Strom thinks about that because, him and I go rounds about this topic all of the time. But obviously a vote for none of the above would be a waste of your vote, but it would, or could potentially,
cause a ruckus.
Cause a ruckus, yep. Let's see. Oh, it's 2 hours already. Let's get rid of that. All right. So, guys, there's lots going on. And all I can tell you is you can't do it alone. You can't. And, breaking those dependencies on everything. And there's a lot of them, food, water, energy, right? But these should be our focuses every single day. How can I get a little bit more energy dependent today? How can I get a little more food dependent today? How can I do those kinds of things? You just have to be willing to go do it. But I promise you it'll be hard, right? And a lot of long days and a lot of loss and, a lot of learning. But I promise you, you don't want to be learning these kinds of things when you have to have it, where there's absolutely no other choice. So let's go learn it today. That's what I promise you, B and I are. We're always experimenting with new things, the way we grow things, the way things work out, just to try to figure out what's the absolute best process and, less energy intensive process to everything we do.
Yeah.
Right. You got any parting words for us today, Pumpkin?
My whole point is just going to be to put away food like it matters. Trying to remove that stroke.
Well, not only are you doing that, you're also relieving the toxin.
Yeah.
You're making yourself healthier.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hakestraw right there. Says voting for none of the above would mean the winner won by default. Yeah, and I think that would at least make a statement. My parting words tonight is kind of like B said, which is, time to take all this stuff seriously, and not say that you guys aren't. I know a lot of you guys are rock stars. I know many of you. Time to take it seriously, and go be a prepper, put some food up. Make sure you can make it through a season. Grow a garden, grow a food forest, plant a tree.
Talk to your neighbors.
Right? Talk to your neighbors, make friends, build community, right? Practice your skills. I promise you, if you can't defend it, you don't own it. So how are your defensive skills? Go do it.
Learn new skills.
Learn them, learn how to build, learn how to weld, learn how to do those things. Because again, we have no promises. The system's really, really fragile. But yeah, and Dana Green says we need our neighbors and family. Yeah, 100%. Yep, and I'll leave it with this. As Pack Rat says, hold the line. I'm going to go hold the line. But I'd love to have every one of you beside me. Let's go hold the line. Let's go make real change. And, we're only going to do that if we get up and put a foot forward. So that's what I'm going to do. Is that what you're going to do?
Me too.
All right, be out.
Be out.
Tag out. Good night, everybody. We'll see you guys in a week.